Hello, I'm Richard and welcome to PGP. Today we're going to go through some Warzone Firefight tips and tricks. So first of all, before we start, I'd just like to thank Rack and Khan for suggesting that we make this video and for watching all of our Halo content on the channel so far. We've got a lot more Halo content planned for the future, including more Warzone Firefight videos, more No Death Legendary runs on Halo 5 and on all the other Halo games as well. And also we're in the process of structuring an entire playlist of videos explaining the Halo story and the characters themselves in breakdown videos, so keep an eye out for them as well. So with all that out of the way, let's get started. These tips and tricks are ones that we have found most effective during our time playing Warzone Firefight. So if you think there's any that we've missed out, or if you have any tips or tricks that you like, please put them in the comments below and we'll try and incorporate them into our future videos as well. We started this game of Warzone Firefight as a team of 4, so we had 2 players stick together and work as a team, and we had the other 2 players doing their own tactics individually. This video is intended to show you the best way to play Firefight if you're in a team or if you're on your own. Having said that, we highly recommend going into Warzone Firefight with a group of people you know if possible, so that working together and communicating is easier. As most people nowadays are in party chat or without a headset, it is crucial that you talk to your team and you have some kind of communication and tactics. So when you start, you'll either be faced with Covenant or Prometheans. If you're against Covenant, the best tactic is to kill a grunt as soon as possible by headshotting it with a pistol or throwing a grenade and taking its plasma pistol. This will allow you to plasma pistol combo the elite and to take out the first wave of enemies as quickly as possible. Another good tactic is to use the Needler. The Needler is extremely powerful in Halo 5 and can take out a group of enemies with one clip. If you're against Prometheans, I recommend doing the same tactic but killing a crawler and taking its suppressor. If you've seen some of our Halo 5 Legendary No Death Run videos on this channel, you'll see me use the suppressor battle rifle or suppressor pistol combo on soldiers a lot. The suppressor tears through their armour quickly, and once the soldiers expand to reveal their core, one precision shot will take them out. As soon as you can, I would recommend getting in a vehicle such as a Ghost or a Warthog and start splattering as many enemies as you can. Getting kill streaks levels up your Rex quicker, so this is essential for getting the better weapons and the better vehicles earlier on in the game. So when they spawn, they're normally grouped together and make splattering them very easy. This is even easier with Prometheans because you can see the blue spawn orbs before they physically spawn on the map, so you can prepare to splatter a group of them as soon as they spawn if you time it correctly. If you have one available and are in a team of 2 or more, I would highly recommend using the Oni Warthog. This is the most powerful Warthog in the game and tears through armour extremely quickly. We've spent entire games driving around in a single Oni Warthog without dying, taking enemies out with ease. If there's a boss on the map, get the person on the back of the Oni Warthog to use a damage boost, as this increases the effectiveness of the turret and makes taking out bosses extremely easy. If you are in a vehicle though, just be careful to keep an eye on the objective. A lot of the time the objectives will be to kill a certain enemy or a group of them, for example grunts, but sometimes it's to protect a generator. This usually spawns inside buildings or in secluded locations which can be difficult to get to with vehicles. This doesn't mean that everyone needs to jump out of the vehicles and go on foot, as it can be very effective for a Warthog to circle around the objective to prevent as many enemies entering the zone as possible. But make sure that if you are in a vehicle you are aware of the objectives at all time. Another good vehicle to use except the Ghost or the Warthog is the Scorpion or the new UNSC aerial vehicle, the Wasp. Although overheating its guns quickly, this vehicle is extremely effective in Warzone Firefight, as you can see in this video, and if you're lucky enough to have a certification of this vehicle and you have a few of them, this can be really useful. It's also very important to remember that there is no friendly fire in Warzone Firefight, so if you are in a tank or any vehicle or power weapon with splash damage, like rockets or fuel rod for example, you can shoot them into a group of enemies without fear of betraying any of your team. The only way to kill your own teammates is by splattering them, so be careful not to run over anyone on your team, but apart from that you're safe to be as reckless as you want with your vehicles and weapons. Apart from splattering groups of enemies and getting multi-kills to give you a rec point boost, another way to boost your points comes at the end of each round. Once you complete the objective, the round completes and shortly after that all the enemies despawn. Don't put your controller down just yet, because if you shoot as many of the enemies as you can before they despawn, you get the points for their deaths, even if you don't kill them. This can get you that extra level or 2 to allow you to get the better weapons and vehicles in the game quicker, especially in the earlier rounds. If you see an enemy such as a knight, soldier or grunt with a power weapon such as a disintegrator cannon, turret or fuel rod, don't forget to pick it up. And if a teammate dies with a power weapon or vehicle, don't feel bad for picking that up too quickly either. If the teammate dies, their weapons or vehicles despawn quicker than they can respawn and get back to that weapon or vehicle. So when they die, just pick it up because they won't be able to use it again, and there's no point wasting that ammo or the rec points it takes to get those items. When dying in the last few rounds, your spawn timer is extremely long. To skip this timer, go into your wrecks and pick a low wreck vehicle like a mongoose. This will take you back to the spawn timer and it should still be counting down. Then go back into the wreck screen again and pick another vehicle that you actually want to use. This will instantly spawn you into that vehicle, skipping the timer. This technique uses up an additional wreck point as you need to spend one on the initial mongoose, but it's well worth doing to get you back into the action as quickly as possible to kill that legendary boss. If Banshees and Phaetons spawning around and you're not in a vehicle, a great way to take them out is with a plasma pistol. Plasma pistoling Phaetons disables them and makes them fall from the sky. This can allow your teammates to focus on them easier and take them out quickly, but by shooting them with a plasma pistol, it can also make them flip on their backs when they hit the ground, which can sometimes eject the soldier and destroy the Phaeton. And on occasion, it can actually blow up both the Phaeton and the soldier inside. It has been said that on rare occasions it can eject the soldier and the Phaeton does not explode, remains intact, and you can actually get in it. I haven't done this myself, but if that happens, take advantage of it and get in the Phaeton. Another way to eliminate air vehicles is to counter them with air vehicles. So 2 or 3 friendly Banshees, Phaetons or Wasps in the air can be very effective. And if you're on the ground and want to use something other than a plasma pistol, turrets or the Spartan laser is great too. If you have teammates already in the air or with effective weapons against aerial vehicles and you're in a ghost or a wraith for example and struggling to hit any enemy in the sky, focus on the enemies on the ground, because these can cause trouble for your teammates focusing on the enemies in the sky, as this can really help them out and allow them to stay alive for a little bit longer to complete the objective. It's important to note that you cannot splatter knights or bosses, and neither can you physically eject bosses or objective vehicles such as grunts in ghosts to eliminate them quickly. If a grunt goblin spawns, there are multiple ways to destroy it. Its weak point is in the centre of the vehicle itself, so by shooting off the front plating or thrusters on the back will expose the core. Then it's just a matter of shooting with whatever vehicle you're in, and if you're not in a vehicle, getting a power weapon like the upgraded sword the answer or the upgraded Spartan laser endgame can be really effective against bosses in general. Again, if you have enough wreck points after purchasing your new power weapon, getting a damage boost as well is really useful. Another way to eliminate him is to take down the shield protecting the grunt itself and then headshot him once it's down. The shield's really strong, so it requires a lot of damage. So if you do want to go for this strategy, Covenant plasma weapons take shields down a lot quicker in general than UNSC weapons, so go for these. In the final round, at the bottom right it says bosses 0 out of 7 for example. This shows you that there will be a total of 7 bosses in this round. At the beginning of the round you might only have 3 bosses spawn, so you need to make sure that you eliminate these as quickly as possible so that the next group of bosses can spawn, because you don't get additional time after defeating each group of bosses. If the hunters spawn, then their weak point is the orange point on their back, but sometimes they'll spawn in close quarters inside and this can be difficult to get to, so just shoot them with a vehicle or power weapon like the Spartan laser, fuel rod or rockets for example, as this can be highly effective. Just make sure that if you're on foot you avoid their shots and come in and out of cover if possible to shoot. Depending on the previous round, you might have picked up a lot of fuel rod ammo from the grunts or some turrets from the soldiers for example, so you won't have to use any of your precious wreck points to acquire it. You can see here that we're using an Oni Warthog, Tank, Mantis and Wasp and taking the health down pretty steadily here. If the Warden Eternal spawns, then the same tactic as in the campaign works here. You just need to get behind him and shoot him in the core on his back. It will get smaller and smaller with each successful implosion until he implodes in on himself. The Warden can disable vehicles with his attacks and can do high damage to players outside of vehicles. The best tactic is to surround him so at least one person has line of sight on the core on his back at all times. If you're in a vehicle and he's disabling you constantly, it might be frustrating and you might want to jump out and try your luck on foot. But wait it out if you can, as you can still get the odd shot off on him, and while he's focusing on your vehicle, you're giving everyone else in the game an opportunity to attack him from behind. He might then change his attention from you to someone else after a while, meaning he'll turn around, allowing you to finally move and focus on his core. If all players surround him and focus fire on his core, he will be eliminated very quickly. Enhanced versions of power weapons such as Endgame work great on the Warden if you shoot him in the core on his back. In some levels he spawns in the main base and it's difficult to get behind him, and then it just becomes a fight to whittle down his health before the timer expires. If players spread out to eliminate the chance of multiple players dying from one shot, then you should go down pretty quickly, and if you do die, then try that quick respawn trick I mentioned earlier to get back into the action quickly. So that's all the tips and tricks we use in games while playing. I hope you found them useful and interesting. If you have any of your own, please write them in the comment section below and we'll incorporate them in our gameplay videos of Warzone Firefight. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos on both Halo and non-Halo related content, and I hope to see you soon.